Hey guys, it's Steve. I'm actually going through a breakup this week. Um, Really hard breakup, guys. My girlfriend had a lot of disabilities, borderline, bipolar, anxiety, you name it, she had it. Um, it's important for us men not to blame everything on the women. Of course, it's not women's fault for everything, right? Us men play a part in the breakup too. But I think it's important for you guys to play your cards right during the breakup. You know, like right now, my ex girlfriend's giving me the silent treatment. The thing you have to realize is silent treatment is actually emotional abuse. So right now, she's emotionally abusing me, even though we're not together. She's refusing to talk. Why is this? Most likely because she already has another boyfriend. She probably already lined up this other guy before we even broke up. That's the thing with narcissistic females, borderline females. They oftentimes will do things behind the scenes, especially if they're antisocial. They're going to do things behind the scenes. Like in this case, every time I went to work, guarantee she was on Facebook getting boyfriends, getting connections. Because this girl literally had a new guy come in her life within 2 or 3 days of our breakup. She had another guy at the house. This means she was talking to this guy the whole time we were dating, guys. She was building connections. I remember one time she showed me her dating POF. It was a POF dating website. She showed me her account. She had like 5 or 6 guys hitting her up. Um, One time we had a 2 or 3 day breakup. She ends up at another man's house that she said was just a friend. She takes a shower before this guy picks her up and then tells me nothing happened. He put a movie on at his house. And then she flat out tells me nothing happened. I have a hard time believing nothing happened. Um, Especially when you're dealing with narcissistic females, even borderline females can be cheaters. I dated a borderline female once. She was trying to screw around with her downstairs neighbor while she was dating me. She was probably meeting up with other men down the road. She was like a sex addict, probably. But when am I doing this breakup, guys? I'm really just leaving my ex girlfriend alone. I'm not harassing her. It's important if you're in crisis state of mind to reach out for help, reach out for a friend, reach out for family. If you need to check yourself into the hospital to keep yourself or other people safe, do that. It's not the time to hurt people. It's not the time to hurt yourself. What I'm planning on doing is taking a few days of rest. That's what I've done recently. Like today, I went to a thrift store. I went to a couple lawn sales. I did my laundry today. So I'm just focusing on some easy self care behaviors that can help me get my mind off of this. Because to be honest with you guys, I really cared about this girl that I was dating, dating a lot. She had 2 kids that I was helping take care of. So I was playing like a stepdad role. She had one child age 14, one child age 8 that I was helping take care of. So I was playing a stepdad role for about 7 months. And I'd say it was borderline personality that probably ruined our relationship. Like these fights with a borderline will just happen out of nowhere, guys. Literally, weeks ago, everything was going wonderful for me and her. There was no issues at all. This is how I know she's narcissistic or borderline because they cycle with their boyfriends. A couple weeks ago, everything fine. You would have thought we were couple of the year. That's how good we were getting along. And then last week she just had a borderline switch. It's a trigger, it's a split. Borderline individuals split on their boyfriends. I was in the shower, just taking a shower. I go upstairs. She literally says, "Why did you take your phone in the bathroom?" Like I'm cheating on her or something. She grabs my phone and smashes it against the wall 7 times and then refuses to give it back to me to the point where I had to call the police. The police showed up. I said I didn't want to press charges on her for taking my phone because she was severely mentally ill. It led to our breakup, guys. It led to us having to break up because there was so much police involvement with this girl. She was like super dramatic. Like last week, I took her kids to the beach. Towards the end of the trip, I went to use the bathroom. Just going pee in the woods, she starts accusing me of getting on her phone, getting on her child's phone, which I did not do. Borderline women can be very delusional, very paranoid. Last week we're at July 4th fireworks. She wanted me to cut off a vehicle. I said, I'm not cutting that car off. She blows up at me for not cutting the car off right in front of the children, guys. Even if you want to be with someone, like in this case, I really did not want to break up with my girlfriend, but we had to break up because we were constantly fighting in front of the kids. This cannot happen. We can't be fighting in front of the kids. If you're in a relationship and you're constantly fighting with the kids, it's time to cut ties because the kids are more important than us adults, guys. I told this girl I'd still help her a little bit with rides here and there. If she needs a ride here and there, I could probably help. But I'm not going to be involved to the level I was involved. I was doing all the appointments for her kids, all the appointments for her. And then last week she smashes my phone and then refuses to pay for it. And I ended up having her bureaus up at my house because she was going to move in here right before she was going to move in. We ended up breaking up, guys. So I still have her dressers. I got to get her dressers back to her kids. I think it's probably for the best, even though we really care about each other, that we don't live together because we don't want to fight in front of the children. So it's really important, even for myself. Like, I just turned 43 years old. What I really should do, guys, is just focus on self care, focus on building myself up. I think now would be a great time to get a gym membership. Maybe I could start working out a little bit and make some friends at the gym. Maybe I could meet a girl at the gym, start dating a new girl. Um, am I the best looking guy in the world? No, I'm not, but I definitely know how to talk to girls and make friends. Um, I don't consider myself a perfect person whatsoever. But during the breakup, that's what you want to do, guys, is focus on self-care, focus on not bothering your ex-girlfriend. You don't want a restraining order. You don't want harassment orders. Don't yell at them. Don't swear. Don't intimidate them. Don't threaten them. Because all this is bad karma back on yourself, guys. You want to treat the breakup as a new chapter in your life. Turn the page. It's a new chapter. It's a new beginning, a new season. Maybe you could do something really cool with your life now that you're in this. Now that you're broke up, maybe you have extra time to do something that you haven't been able to do. Like, for example, I wanted to get a gym membership, but my girlfriend for the last 7 months wouldn't let me get a gym membership because she was very jealous about me going to the gym, so she wouldn't allow it. Plus, I had to be with her constantly because she was having seizures, and I had to be right with her 24/7. But she's recently got some other knucklehead in there. She thinks she can easily replace me. I don't think so. I think this new guy's probably coming in for some sex, and then he'll probably dip out on her. And then she's going to regret treating me like shit right now, giving me silent treatment. She gets temporary assistance for needy families. I said I would still drive her to that so she doesn't lose that. She's a single mom with 2 kids. I said I could transport her home from the hospital if she has a seizure and needs to go to the hospital. I can transport her home. So sometimes apologizing, like I apologize for my part in all the fights. Told her she should still pay for the phone that she broke, but she's refusing to pay for it. So I just have to let that go. She said she was going to pay someone to mow my lawn, $40, and then backed out of that. So I had to cover that $40. They're very vindictive in these breakups. They're very cruel in these breakups. Like I said, the silent treatment is emotional abuse. But you want to do things to protect yourself. Like I said, men, use your coping skills. You don't want to harm anyone. You don't want to harm yourself because all those behaviors are impulsive behaviors that are just going to hurt you in the long run. Why not go for, like, one thing I can do now is I can go for more walks. I could go for a walk. I'm taking a few days of rest. After that, I'm going to start walking again. I'm going to start doing daily exercise if possible. Even if it's just a half-hour walk every morning, that could help me out a lot in my body. Focus on eating healthy, avoiding hard alcohol and drugs. Like to be honest with you guys, I had a relapse about last week. I had a relapse. I don't want to talk about it really. I ended up doing some things I didn't want to do. I relapsed last week. And then the next day I got right back up on the horse of sobriety, guys. So you don't have so just because you relapse doesn't mean you have to stay in that relapse, guys. You can get out of the relapse like I did. But being honest and upfront and being honest with people, like after the breakup, I relapsed. Why was that? Probably depression, guys. I was depressed. That's why I relapsed. I was suicidal probably. You know, let's be honest. I was probably suicidal after the breakup. Didn't give a fuck. That's why I relapsed. I don't want to go into specifics of what it was, but I relapsed, guys. I had a relapse. But now it's been 3 or 4 days of sobriety, and I'm getting back up on the horse of sobriety, guys. So that's how you handle it. You know, if you do have a relapse, just treat it as a mistake and get back up on the horse of sobriety. Go for walks, get a gym membership, eat healthy, start purposely eating healthy. Start avoiding fast food restaurants that are just nothing but garbage food. Start eating correctly. Maybe get a multivitamin, maybe get some protein shakes, maybe get a gym membership. Like one thing I can do is start working out again. I can start working out again since I never had time the last 7 months with the 2 kids plus her. I was taking care of all three of them. I never had any time for myself, guys. I was always focused on other people. So now that I'm single, I can start focusing on self care, focus on myself, focus on making good decisions. I just signed up for an extra shift. So I'm working 3 days a week now instead of two. Working a total of probably about 30 hours a week. I work 30 hours a week at a group home with intellectually disabled adults. But it's all about making good decisions, guys. It's about not allowing yourself to flip out and go to jail, not getting arrested, not getting domestic violence charges. You know, don't let this breakup ruin your life. Don't let this breakup cause you to relapse and die of a drug overdose or cause you to go end up in jail. Um, you need to make really good decisions during this breakup so it's not devastating to you long term. Like, I expect to pull out of this breakup pretty quick. I'm just focusing on doing the right thing every day. Do the right thing every day. If you guys like merch, I have some shirts that I'm going to leave in the comment section that I personally designed for Amazon. I'm going to leave a link in the comment section so you guys can check out one of my shirts. Maybe get it from mom or your sister. It's a butterfly shirt that I personally designed myself. But until next video, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Till next time, Steve-O signing out. Have a great day.